if you're looking for a podcast where I teach you how to make 1 million in 30 days, this is not your podcast. This ain't it. I'm just your normal guy. I'm a family man. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I have 3 kids, 3 wild boys. And I currently run a business, several different ventures. But the point I'm trying to make is I think we live in a society today where it's about scale this, 10x everything. Go as fast as you can. There's shortcuts, cheat codes, whatever there is to get somewhere fast and make as much money as quickly as possible. And honestly, I can't do that. I want to be able to do the best that I can with what I have. And even a biblical principle where the Bible talks about that, what gain is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? And though that is a spiritual principle, I believe it's a business principle as well. There are several founders today where they've made so much money in their business and they may call themselves successful. But what is even success when you've lost your family, when you've lost your wife, when you've divorced a couple of times? What success is that when everything behind the business is a failure? Personally, as a business man, I don't want to run my business that way. And that's why I've started this podcast, because I'm not your typical founder. I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to 10x everything. I'm not the guy to tell you how I made X amount of money in X amount of time, because honestly, I haven't done that. And it's not necessarily about going fast. It's about going deeper and doing things in a way that's going to be able to not just provide for my family, but I also want to be a success to my children as a father. I also want to be a success to my wife as a husband. So, and I think there's sacrifices to take. I either go as fast as I can with my business and allow my wife to do everything, ignore my kids, and yes, in front of the audience, in front of camera, I can tell you that I've made a lot of money, but behind all of that, my kids would resent me, my wife would resent me, and I don't want to live that way. And that's why I've started this podcast. It's just to tell you that I'm someone who isn't like all those podcasts out there today, because lots of podcasts and lots of businesses talk about how they scale to 7 figures in 3 months. How do you hack the algorithm, and how do you do this and how do you do that? And don't get me wrong, I do listen to some of those podcasts. Some of those podcasts are very helpful, but I just want to reveal someone like myself who is probably like every other business owner who has been going through the struggles, who finds some days very tiresome. Some days you don't really want to do certain things, rejections after rejections. And, I suppose there are some business owners that are doing really well. But I can tell you there are some business owners that you probably don't want in their life because of what they're like in their home, with their kids, with their wife, with their husband, whatever it is. And I don't want to build something that's going to cost me my family. And that's not to say about being lazy. I think there's a time and a place to be able to sprint, but I think there's a time and a place where you need to crawl as well. And it just depends upon the season of life that you're in. And that's something that you would need to determine that as a business owner. So I don't want to be at a place where I'm worshipping my business. I want to be able to actually stop and say, okay, it's okay to lose good. And this may be problematic to some people, but it's okay to lose good opportunities. It's okay, because sometimes you're in a circle, you're at a circumstance where it's in your control, but it's about what sacrifices are you going to make. You know, there's been moments where in my own life where my wife was pregnant and I had to choose between spending good time with my family or spend time away building a business. And I didn't want to put all that weight onto my wife to deal with that, because I made the choice to be a husband. I made a choice to be a father. So I have responsibilities now. So I think it's not about building big, but it's about building well. And that's why I started this channel, is to invite founders who are just going through life as a normal person like myself, has lots of difficulties, and to be able to resonate with several founders like that, because there are some founders, unfortunately, I can't necessarily relate to because they are making a lot of money. But it's about doing everything so well. At times, it seems like everything seems to be perfect. But I'm here to say that I'm not your typical founder, because not everything is perfect. There are challenges, and sometimes you just have to go slow. And I just wonder whether there are founders like myself who just can't go as quick as some others because they are a father, because they are a husband. And I want to invite you guys to this channel. You may be like myself, who at times don't know where they stand with everything, and everything seems to be slow, and sometimes you feel like you're procrastinating and don't know where to begin. There's a lot of pressure to provide, and I want to be able to have founders like that and talk to founders like that. And as I said, that means if I have to take my time, if I have to steward with what I have, I will. And at times we just need to step back, we need to rest, and we need to reflect. And it's okay to rest. Look, if you're a founder, it's okay to rest. And I may be giving you that advice as someone who is not making millions and millions a year. I'm someone who've actually just recently started different ventures, and it's not even been over a year yet, so I'm literally just walking through my own journey, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So someone as a founder who's just started, I'm telling you it's okay to rest. And you may say, I don't necessarily have a place to tell you to rest because I haven't made millions, and that's okay. I just think for me as a father and as a husband, I've found it really helpful to rest in some cases, and there's also been moments where I need to run, So, as I said, founders, if you're building a business, build it successfully, but also leave a legacy. Don't allow your children to resent you. Don't allow your wife to resent you. Build well together. Talk to your partner about your difficulties. And for the entrepreneurs who don't just want revenue, but want revenue, slow down. Like, we're in this forever entrepreneurial life today where everybody's trying to create the new biggest thing. You've got AI everywhere, and it's so easy to now create stuff because there's a lot of help that we get, and I think that's great. I think I love it. I love the fact that you could be able to go out and get as much help as you can. That's great, but at times we need to step back and we just need to slow down. So yeah, I think I'm learning a lot of things. I recently came away from a full-time job, and now I'm running a business. I have been for the last, you could say, nearly 8 months. There's other things that I'm doing at the same time, and I think it's of course an area that I believe that I've been doing good at when I've been working in full-time employment. Hence why I decided to go into, building a business. But that's the point of this channel. It's not about fame, it's about legacy. And if you are a business owner, a founder of a recruitment agency, whoever you are, this is the channel for you if you're just looking to live a life and be content with what you have and do the best with what you have. So this is why I'm not your typical founder.